Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of College Sucks. I'm your host, Davis Samantha Davidson, a student affairs professional who has been in college most of her life. See, I'm trying to be more accurate. It couldn't have been all my life, so most of my life. Anyway, welcome to episode 5. Wow, I can't believe I have really been consistent and I am at 5 episodes now. I'm kind of very proud of myself. All right. So last week we spoke about exam preparation, right? All the things you needed to do to make sure you were ready to tackle this war known as an exam, where assessors are trying to find out if you really learned anything, if you know what you think you know, okay? And I wanted to also dive into something else that comes with the exam season, all the things that come with the exam season. So, in the past, I have invigilated exams. We no longer do that. It's an external process. But I used to sit in there and observe the faces of students. Now, you would have these students who, from the jump, from you said, please turn over the paper, you know something was not right and it wasn't going to work. They knew from they looked at it that nothing they studied came, and this was going to be a crap show. This was going to be a see you next semester, see you in the summer kind of vibe. Like they were going to have to take this course again. Or you had those who completed it, but they know that it wasn't the grade they wanted to get. So you see that kind of disappointment, like, oh, so close. Then you have those who don't finish. No, honestly, I can say we listen, we don't judge, right? Sure. But I mean, we have a right, so why you couldn't finish? You know, as an invigilator, that exam was 2.5 hours. Okay. I've slept 5 times in my mind. What do you mean you couldn't answer the question? And as somebody who used to do exams, I used to just always plot it out. So I could never understand, I must say. It might be pretty judgmental of me. But you've had this time and you still don't write everything that you had to write. You just didn't finish or you started over. So you know that this might be a failure. Then you have the others of you that, sadly to say, like to go outside and talk about it. And I have been privy to many a student who's gone outside and they're like, oh, what did you do for number 4? And they're very confident that they may have written the correct answer. And then someone says, oh, I wrote this. And they're like, no, that's not the answer. And then 3 other people say, what do you mean? Of course, that's the answer. And the crestfallen look, like the look of utter, oh snap, what has happened here? So that's what I want to talk about this week. What do you do when you think you have effed up the exam? College sucks. Stay tuned. When I say that you've effed up the exam, what I mean is that you've literally effed it up. You have failed. So what are you going to do when you believe that you've gotten an F? So let's start there. The idea that you've gotten an F. Now, right or wrong, how we feel about things is really the creation of our reality. All right. And even though our brain plays a lot of tricks on us, okay, and it is so natural for us to think about the worst case scenario. Okay, I think it's some protective mechanism that was built up from evolution, and because you had to be out there foraging and, you know, just this fight, flight instinct thing where our brain tries to protect us from harm by thinking, don't get too excited, don't get too happy. All right. So there's just this natural thing in us to self-protect by thinking, okay, we may not have gotten 100%. So let's start there. You believe that you have failed. And that's how you feel. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. Go down to your room, head home, cry if you need to, scream in a pillow if you need to. Call your bestie, call your mom, call your dad, call your boo. Call your ex boo. I'm kidding. Don't do that. That will just make it worse. But call someone that you think won't judge you or won't say anything about it, but just listen to you while you vent. Okay? It's best to acknowledge your feelings because when you try to tuck them away, they might come out somewhere else. And remember, the exam season is short. It's very short. Like you have to approach the season like a professional athlete. You have to be like, okay, this one exam was a meet and the race is done or the game is done and I have to move on and prepare for the next one. Like that's just what it has to be. You can't be focused on, you know, oh my God, this one thing, because it may have been your first exam or it might be one in a mix of exams, and you can't afford to spend too much time on this grieving process. So the sooner you acknowledge how you're feeling and not suppressing it, the easier it is for you to jump on and move on to the next. Okay. And one other thing that I will say that really has helped me in the past when I was in college, I would just leave the scene of the crime. So after the exam, you are not finding me. I'm out. I don't want to talk about it because I have never seen an exam result change because we're outside talking about it. It's not going to happen. So I leave the scene because inside you kind of know. You really know that it wasn't your best. And you're just hopeful that, somebody will give you a bly. Somebody will help you out. Somebody feels sorry for you and just give you a one extra grade. So I like to leave the area immediately, and I try to talk to who I need to talk to, and then I get into the self-care of it. So I might go and have a shower. For me, a shower really makes me feel better, especially when something has been kind of traumatic. And in Jamaica, we say that, you need to wash the saltness off you. I really do believe that, although they normally tell people to wash the saltness off themselves by going to the sea, which is salt. So I really don't understand if it's a salt cancels out salt thing. I didn't come up with it. So, but I'm very curious. If you know, please drop it in the comments. Please explain. But yeah, I find that a shower, listening to your favorite song, having your favorite snack can be a way to self-soothe, to get you over very quickly this thing that has happened. The next thing I'm going to suggest, and it may sound like the most ridiculous thing in the world to you, but I'm going to suggest that you go for a walk. Seriously, if you think that you have messed up and that, this is something that is going to be a problem, I find walking to be the freest therapy. And any student that has been talking to me about going through a rough time, if they've spoken to me about it more than once, they know that I'm going to ask them, especially if they're like, oh, they're so sad and I'll just always be like, when was the last time you went for a walk? It's like my miracle answer for almost everything, because for me personally, it has worked, and we share what we know. To be completely honest, we share what we're exposed to and what we have experienced in. And I know that it's cold for a lot of you, those of you who might be local or international. I don't know what's happening in Jamaica where I am, but the sun is shining, but the weather ain't sweet. Okay, it's cold and it's windy. It's absolutely almost unbearable to be outside. I can't even tell if you can tell the changes in my own voice because it's so cold and windy. So I'm telling you to go for a walk when the conditions may not necessarily be the best, but I'm telling you, in the scheme of things, a walk in a windy situation, take 2 DPH if you need to, is a good way to restart and to recharge and to get your blood flowing differently or to think about things differently. It can really help you get past the idea that you failed and it's the end of the world. So that's the first thing that I'll say to you. Acknowledge your feelings and start your self-care, like right away. Another thing that I will say to you is a lot of times we feel like when something is happening, it's happening to us solo. It's only happening to us. You may not be the only one who feels like they failed. The smartest person in a class may feel like they failed, right? And it may not even be you. It might be the paper. And it wouldn't be the first time. No, I'm not saying that this necessarily is the case, but sometimes the Lulu is the Lulu and you should roll with it. Especially when you have other exams to do. You don't want to drown in sorrows over this one. And there's nothing you can do about it, so you may as well think best case scenario. Okay, something is wrong with the paper. The moderators are going to figure it out because everybody was in shock and maybe something was truly wrong, and they're going to mark it a little bit easier. And so I might get a little bit of a break. How about that? Start to think some positive thoughts. Think, hey, it's not so bad. And a good way I think, if you are spiritual or if you believe in the universe and its ability to give us our desires and be kind to us, because it has been. If you've had a stroke of luck ever in life, that's the universe showing you that it can be kind as much as it can also be cruel. So in this instant, just think that it can be kind. And so I would say pray after the paper. I've done it. And I'm telling you, it has worked. I just say, God, you don't know. I think I messed up. And I'm just asking you, please let me get a marker who is having the best Christmas ever. Like everything is going great for them. When they wake up, they're hearing that Three Little Birds song. They are just cheerful. They're happy. Please, when they get to mine, please put some happiness in them. And so that I can pass. I just want to pass. I know I went in with the A vibe, and if you can still bust me on the A, I will take it. But for now, pray after the paper. I'm telling you, I think it works. I know it has worked for me. Like, being honest, some of those times I did not do my best, and the results did not indicate that. So pray after the paper. Send some positive energy in its direction. Do that, let it go, and move on. All right? So the next steps. The plan is still the plan. Yeah, the plan is still the plan. You can't say, hey, I studied, I listened to this College Suck podcast, I joined a study group, I made friends with people to get their notes, I did everything this woman said, and then I went into the exam and I still couldn't answer. None of the things I studied for came. Friend, that's life. Okay? And just because you had a bad day does not mean you don't get up and you don't view the next day. Like, you're like, it's a bad day and the world done. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. So the plan is still the plan. And if anything else, we need to buckle down on the plan. Okay? We need to be a little bit tighter. We need to not take anything for granted. And when we're in the study group, we shouldn't be there like, oh, I'm not answering that question. We should just be open and receptive to all the topics. Because in the last paper, we didn't want to study 3. Only 1 out of the 3 come. So let's try to see if we can maximize our efforts now. Now, don't go too overboard, because we have this little panicky vibe sometimes where we move from 0 to wanna be hero. And that's just not how it works. So the plan is still the plan, but we want to zone in more on the plan. We want to believe in the plan. We want to really buy into the plan. Because sometimes when we're on the plan, we still want to cheat a little bit. We know that we're only supposed to be taking 5-minute breaks. We're taking 7-minute breaks. We know that we're supposed to only be talking to our family for 20 minutes. We're talking to them for 2 hours, same way. So we just need to zone in more on the plan. Let's try to focus. Let's try to go back, review what the tips are, and to use them. Let's see if we can catch the lecturer, because no, a lot is riding on the exams that we have going forward. So we have to take them seriously. So if you are the type who, I'm not ask my lecturer, no, please, I beg, go and ask, because one is all we can give ourselves right now. So just in case you failed, right? Paying for 1 is way cheaper than paying for 2 or 3. So let's tighten up on the plan. The plan is still the plan, but we're more serious about the plan now. It's really no joke. And so we have to hone in on it, because we have to pass our way out of this perceived failure. We have to try to pass everything else going forward. All right, so the plan is still a plan. We're going to eat. We're going to have a shower. We're going to go for a walk. We're going to possibly have a little nap, a little cry, a little nap. We're going to make some tea. We're going to roll up in a warm blanket. We're going to sit up at our desk. We're going to put our headphones on. We're going to mute any noise, any distractions, and we're going to zone in because the plan has got to be the plan. The plan is what's going to see us out of what we believe to be a difficult situation. All right. So, one of the other things I want to say to you that's going to be very, very helpful is that you have to reframe your mentality very quickly. Your mindset has to change into one of positivity and say, look here, it can be perfect, right? It is imperfection, but I can still try to go big. So you're going to think, okay, this was just a one off, this gone already, and it's go get the others. And that's the attitude I'm going to have going forward. I'm going to be very positive in my thoughts. I'm not going to dwell on what has happened. I'm going to move forward and I'm just going to focus on what I have ahead of us. Now, mindset is a whole next topic, a whole podcast or a range of podcasts. But there are some things that you can do to make yourself feel better. And I would say that you need to do some affirmations. You need to affirm that you are deserving of good grades, you are deserving of a pass, and that you are going to put your efforts in there. You might have a Bible verse that you connect with. You might have a quote, and you can always find them. They're all over Instagram, even though we're not going there. So maybe type in exam affirmations in Google and then read a couple of those to help you to reframe your mind. The tools are out there and you definitely need to use them. So try to find some positive affirmations to get you to zone in to sticking to the plan and understanding that the plan is the plan and doing what you need to do. Call that positive person. Some of you are very close to your pastors, your youth pastors. Call them for a second and ask for a prayer if that makes you feel better. Or talk to that one positive friend or student affairs professional at your institution. I mean, I've had students who come to me and say, Miss, I've really messed up. What do you think? And just after a little talk and a couple laughs, because I'm very funny. Let me just put that out there. We laugh about it a little bit, and immediately they start to feel a little better, because you have to try to feel better, because the next exams are not going to go away. So you have to stick with the plan and you have to quickly reframe your mind positively. So it's not only about letting go of what has happened, but it is thinking positively about what is to come and how you can definitely do better with that. All right, so you've thought positively, you're studying now, and you are going into your next exams, and they're going to go well. All right, I'm telling you that they're gonna go well. If anything, this little shocker was a wake-up call that, look here, you need to read the exam questions better, more detailed. You need to plot out and manage your time better. Any kind of failure has a lesson in it. And I'm saying this again, even if it is a perceived failure, because I've had students come and tell me, Miss, me fail everything, and then the next thing they're on an honor roll. And trust me, they're not doing it for attention. They really honestly believe that. They normally just think the worst, and it's just who they are. And they may grow out of that, and that's good, but that's just how they are. And your feelings are your feelings. But sometimes your reality are quite different, or your reality is quite different from what your feelings are. Oftentimes, most times, I would say, like 8 out of 10. Reality trumps feelings in every respect. So you really want to zone into that. It may not be as bad as you think, is something that I just want to keep going throughout this podcast. So, okay, the exams are finished now, and it's time to go home. And this is where a lot of anxiety comes in. So students move through the emotions of, I can't wait to be through the exams. And the exams themselves are stressful. But the exam period is not limited to when you take the exams. It goes on to when you go home and you ruminate on what has happened. You think about it. And that's the next thing I want to talk to you about. Again, don't waste the holiday that you have earned. Okay? If even you are not the best student, there are tons of people who are not in college. They're not even trying. And you are here. Some of you, if you look into yourselves deeply, you know you're not doing the best that you should be doing. but you have turned up and you did go and sit your exams. So on the holiday that you have earned, I don't want you to spend most of it fretting about something you cannot control. I don't want you to be watching electoral status to see if they've said anything. As a matter of fact, I would say to you, don't talk about it. Don't get into it. Don't discuss it. Just leave it alone. Go home. If you're in Jamaica, eat your Christmas cake if you like it. Drink your sorrel if you like it. Have your eggnog if you like it. I'm just listing off all my favorite things. And just try to rest and recuperate because you've earned it. A lot of holidays have been ruined. And I've had students say that, oh, I spent my whole holiday anxious, nauseous, nervous about the exams. I was fretting the whole time. And you didn't enjoy the rest. And then you come back and you're jumping into a next academic season. And that's how burnout comes because you're not allowing yourself to enjoy your holidays. Like, what's that about? The thing done and gone already. And although I don't want you to get into the culture of having a blasé attitude or what I call the casualness of things, like, I do want you to be purposeful and intentional. I also don't want you to be beating the crap out of yourself. That has never served anyone. Don't do it. Try to just be realistic, be honest, observe what has happened, but don't waste your holiday crying over spilled milk. If anything, I would say rest, recuperate, and think about what you can do to make the next semester better. What are some of the steps you can take? Small steps, not no big changes, because that's not how life works. Small steps that you can take to make sure that the next exam season that will be coming up will not be like the last one was, where you felt overwhelmed, where you were constantly catastrophizing everything, where you were worried about every second, where there was just a lot going on and you had a lot to think about and you were stressed out and you were burnt out and you were just feeling sick and overwhelmed and you just weren't in the best of seasons. So you possibly need to just spend your holiday recuperating, listening to things that will help to set you up properly for the next academic season and the next exam season. All right. So I'm going to leave it here. I can't even tell you how many challenges I've had in recording this episode. And see, everybody goes through it. I thought I had a full episode recorded. And when I listened back, the volume had issues and I had to do it again. And like I said, that's just life. And now I'm hunched up in a closet because I'm recording at after 9 in the morning, peak traffic hours, and I can hear every single God Almighty car. So I'm scrunched up in a closet hoping that the sound quality is going to be good. I'm not even sure, and please forgive me if it's not. But I am trying my best. I do believe that I have something to share. And I'm trying to share it with you. And I hope that if even one person found it helpful, I think that that's important because that really is impact. And that's what I want. I want to have an impact on students in college because that's where I've spent most of my life. And I really do believe that college sets you up for the kind of life that you can lead. Like you just learn so many lessons there. But anywho's. I'm going to wish you continued luck and success in the exams that you have going forward. I know here on our schedule, some students are going to be finished by Friday, the 6th, and some will just be starting on the 9th. But wherever you are in your exam season, I wish you all the best. And if you're going to be done this weekend, congrats on coming out alive and do enjoy your holidays. So yeah, that's it. Another episode is in the bag or in the books. And I'm going to ask you to check out my TikTok where nothing is happening and my Instagram where equally nothing is happening. But it's going to start happening really soon. So whenever you listen to this episode, just go over there and see if it's happening. And if it's not happening, please just help me out. Just comment and be like, nothing is happening, ma'am. Get on that. So, we can help each other. I would very much like that to be a mutually beneficial relationship. I'm definitely into those. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I know college sucks, but it doesn't have to. Enjoy your holidays. Bye.